me, Cynthia, and today I want to work on three different of these mixed media pieces that I've been working on for the past, I don't know, I guess it's been about 3 months now since May. So I'm just going to show you all three of them and tell you what I'm intending to do. All three of them are very close to being finished. So this is one that you haven't seen before. And it happens that all three of these were done at different times, but they all kind of resemble some kind of a forested look. So that's where I'm headed with these. So this one will be last. This one you probably also have not seen. So I have a few things to do on this one, mostly a glaze. And this one will be second. And this one I worked on, was I here last Saturday? Yes, I was not here Wednesday, but I worked on this one and it's almost done. But the problem here, the specific problem I want to solve with this one is that this is too much of the same value as what's happening with the trunks of these trees. And so I want to try to bring a little bit of light into the leaves up there, what I consider to be the tree canopy, and also maybe some dark in some of these, give a little bit of a shadow. Not that it has to be literal, but right now I'm not happy with how this all reads as one kind of value. We've got a nice light value here, but we need some darker values in here. So I have my Stay Wet palette over here, and I have my colors from the previous times. That's the beauty of this palette, so I don't forget what I'm working on. And I'm going to try to deepen some things here and then maybe lighten some things up there. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with that. And also, I just want to say, I keep forgetting to say this, that I have a Substack, and it's in, the link is in my description for this channel. But on my Substack, I actually go into a little bit more depth in terms of, like, if you like my process or you like what you see happening here and you just want to read a little bit more about what I do or the meaning behind some of these pieces, I have that over on my Substack. So that link is in my description. And I was working on my Substack for a while, and then I left it alone for a while, and now I've gone back to it to expand a little bit, at least in articles, short articles about my work here on YouTube. So you can find that there. I don't want to lose the beauty that's happening in this, but I'm gonna try to spritz a little water and maybe wipe a little bit back, or let it kind of trickle down into the tree. But I want to darken this even a little bit. I don't like to use black. I do use black sometimes, but I try to mix. I think I might, I don't know. I'm trying to work with the colors that I already have here on my palette to try to darken this. Not sure I'm succeeding yet. And then I want to lighten that canopy area there. So if you're new here, once again, I'm Cynthia, and this channel is really about process. I don't really do tutorials. I like to just come on here and just have you participate in the process, or maybe create alongside me your own work. And yeah, and so the other thing I don't like about this is right here. I kind of put a branch there, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna change that and fix this area here. I'm gonna deepen this here and kind of create a shadow here, but I don't like that. So I'm gonna change that. And I wasn't sure, I added this tree over here, and I'm not even sure that I want to keep it. But maybe I'll wait and see what I think after I do some darkening of this area over here, and see if that helps. I think this could just be light over here on this side. And I really don't want this to be a harsh shadow. So I'm not really sure. I don't want to add too much water here. I might use, I came up here in a little bit of a rush. Oh, here are my pipettes right in front of me. I might just try to soften this with some water here. I don't know if this is really going to work. Maybe I'll just use a brush to kind of, this doesn't have anything on it, it's a dry brush to kind of blend that in. I don't want it to be too, well, I erase that. I don't want it to be too stark of a line between the sort of darker up here and the rest of the trees. And I'll probably have to step back away from that later and decide if that's dark enough and maybe let it dry and add a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think? I'm thinking to take this tree out of here. I'm not sure I really like it. And I've got some of this over here. And maybe it's just a ghost of something happening over here. And then I don't like this right here. I decided it just, I don't know, didn't like that branch. It just kind of bugged me, I guess. Hello, wildlife art. And hello, Jacqueline. Shout out to my friend Jacqueline. She is another artist, but she is a singer-songwriter, and she is absolutely beautifully talented. I'm going to link Dancing in a Dream in my description for this video because you've got to check out her Friday night live streams. Absolutely beautiful music. Thanks for popping in here, Jacqueline. So, yes, this is almost done. Now, I think I'm, of course, Jacqueline, of course. We YouTubers have to stick together. Oh, wildlife art, thanks for coming here. I have mostly process videos. What kind of art do you do? Besides the fact that it's wildlife, is it abstract or realistic? And what media do you use? I'm turning this upside down because I want to do something up here and I don't want to bump what's wet down here. I want to somehow give the sense of some light up here, and honestly, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I'm just going to dive in because I guess I can always cover it up if I don't like it. I have some green here from last time, an olive green, but I think I'm going to mix a little bit of white in here. And I want to, I don't know, I might just end up spritzing this with some water to kind of, I don't want it to be too literal, you know? And so let's see, you know, I don't know, maybe I need a little bit more. I don't want them to all be the same color. I don't know if you can hear the noise outside my house here, but I have my door open and I hear, I don't know if that's motorcycles or airplanes, but something's happening out there. So I'm going to spritz this because I like to really soften it, and this is just water. And let this set. Can you explain about this painting? Oh, what do you want to know about this painting? I started it, I think I started this about 3 weeks ago now. I missed a week because I was busy. Came back to it last Saturday, and these all started out as collage And then I work with, like I'll sand back my collage. I'll just add lots of random water and acrylic and just sort of see what happens with the painting. And then, when I start to recognize something happening in it, then I kind of work with that. So it's a very intuitive process for me. So I don't love this yet up here. And so I think I'm gonna maybe get rid of some of that, but I might need to let this, dry a little bit and move on. I'm gonna be working on 3 different panels today. So yes, I'm not in love with this yet up here, but, and then I also, like I said, I might want to deepen this even a little bit more. So I'm gonna set this one aside. Oh, your hobby is painting. Do you use acrylics or oils? Wildlife art. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna set this aside for a few minutes while this, and see if it can dry while I work on this one. Okay, for those of you who've been here before, you've never seen this one. So I've worked on this a few different times, but it's very warm, and I really would like to tone the white down and get rid of some of the yellows. And I want to be careful I'm not getting green, but I've got some glaze mixed up right here. This is a glazing medium and some water. And what blue did I use? I used a Quinn. I don't know where I put I don't know how to pronounce that one. What did I use? Oh, this one. Anthraquinone blue. So I want to be careful here and kind of maybe, to me this is like trees in the snow, and so I want to try to put some of this on here. I think I'm going to just try using a sponge and see what happens. Oh, you use watercolor. Oh, I love watercolor. It's very difficult. Do you find it difficult, or have you been doing it for a long time? I do watercolors on Wednesdays, but right now I've been, I've done landscape watercolor before, but I think that toned it back. But I've been just doing abstracts on Wednesdays. I'm pretty rusty on my landscape watercolor painting. It's such a hard medium. Do you think it's hard? I think this is working. I want to, oops, whoa, a little bit. Just want just a touch of blue on this white to, how in the winter, for those of you who are from northern climes, like I am, Michigan here, snow, especially when it's cloudy or it's dusk or dawn, the snow looks so blue, so beautiful. There are times where I get tired of winter, but I also love winter so much. It can be so beautiful and a great time to, be in the house working on art, or be in the studio and having fire in the fireplace and that kind of thing. I love about winter. So wildlife art, I have another question for you. Do you have a YouTube channel, or do you just do it as a hobby? If you have a YouTube channel, feel free to shout it out. I'd like to support other YouTube channels who are making art. So I think that this is working to just take that back a little bit and cool it off a little bit here. Quite a bit of yellow green up here at the top. These are, I find these works, it's very intuitive. Like if I see something after I've worked on it for a little bit, then I emphasize the thing that I see. So sometimes it takes me a while to find something in my work, and I can show you maybe later in this live stream. well, actually, you're going to see one here in a minute. I've got a third one that I want to work on that is a little less farther along. But if I see something, then I emphasize the thing that I start to see. I don't really start out with saying, okay, I'm going to paint, a forest. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not how I work right now, anyway. All right, so, oh, wildlife art, thank you so much. I think this is turning out pretty well right now, and I think I'm going to leave this one, and I've got painting number 3, and that's this one. And I'm going to work on this one too. So I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with this one. I already titled this one, and this one is actually called Now They Sleep. Thinking about the trees in winter. Thank you. So this one, okay, so you can kind of see, I'm going to hold this up really close for you. This right here is collage paper. And then I came in after, all this is collage underneath here. You can kind of see where some of the paint peeled off in some places. It's very rough right now. I put on some of the sienna, I think, or it was burnt umber or burnt sienna. And then I sprayed water on it and I scraped at it and did different things. But it's not done yet. But again, I saw this one as something happening in the distance and that these might be tree forms. But it's not done yet. I think it's close. But I think it needs just a little bit of, bringing some parts of this forward and pushing. I don't want to touch this background. I really like the background. So I'm going to do some things with these tree-like pieces here, I hope, and not do too much to ruin what I consider to be like the part of the beauty of the intuitive process. So, oh, Jacqueline, thanks for saying love the triptych. I know, I didn't intend for it to be that, but that's what ended up happening. So, the universe, sometimes things work that way, right? That's how I view it anyway. So this, I'm not sure where I'm headed as far as colors. I think I'll probably work with the similar colors to what I did with this other one, because I already have those out on my palette. But I want to work on these trees. I need to get a smaller brush. And I have to admit, I'm not the best when it comes to my equipment. I have so many brushes and I don't even know what's what. I'm probably using my watercolor brushes when I should be using acrylic brushes, but it's one of the things about me is that I kind of just do whatever. If you've been here before, when I make some of these, I said it last week, I said I'm pretty rambunctious. So I don't know, I think I want to, well, that might not be, I want to lighten that a little bit. Got some white over here. I don't know. I want to be careful here not to, this might be too light. I don't know. Might not even be the right. What I like to do is use gravity and water to, help me define some of these trees. And so this is a much slower process than if you've been here on the times where I'm starting one of these. I'm kind of, throwing paint down and putting a lot of water on it. And now I'm trying to be a little more careful because I want to preserve that background. And the other thing that I use on these, but I want to get some acrylic down first, is that I do use some water-based on top of this, but then I have to be careful that I don't come back with other media and then reactivate the watercolors that are behind it. So it's kind of a balancing act because I am a mixed media artist and I honestly don't always know how the materials are going to react together. And there's been more than one time that I covered up something I didn't want to cover up. I'm not sure I'm liking that. I really want this to have more of that yellow in it too, or this orange, burnt sienna. I don't know where I'm headed here exactly. I just know I want to emphasize these more and not lose that background. I love this how this looks right here. So I'm gonna go with this for now, and then I'm gonna probably spritz some water on here and see where this leads. But like I said, I love that collage happening in the background, and I really do not want to lose that. And also I love what's happening here. Down here, there's some words, I don't know, you know, I just, oh, actually, I think that might have been, I know maybe this sounds like sacrilegious or something, but my mom passed away, and, you know, my dad gave me my mom's Bible, and it smelled terrible because it was so old, and I don't know, somehow it got really, like, musty or something, and so I decided that I wanted to use it in my art because, you know, it belonged to my mom, and I didn't want to just, you know, like throw it away, but I couldn't like use it. It smelled so bad. So that's actually a page out of my mom's Bible right there. That's okay if that gets covered up. It has meaning for me, and not necessarily all the viewers will see that. The viewers of my art. So, okay, so I wanted to differentiate that there so that this looked like it's in front of that, but I don't want to lose that texture. It's really kind of a balancing act. I don't know what I'm going to do right here. This is not... Thanks, Jacqueline. Yeah, I mean, you know, why not use books and things that are going to get tossed anyway in your art? So, I don't know if I think I want to add a little bit of water to this. So what I like to do sometimes, I keep losing these little cheapy pipette thingies. Get a little bit of, oh, that's not what I want. It already had color in it. I want one that doesn't have any color in it. I sometimes just like try to add a little bit of water to these to soften this and to blend the colors, and just use the gravity to do that. So, but sometimes it doesn't go where I want it to go, and like I said, right now, today, I'm being fussy because I really don't want to lose my collage in the background. So this is a much slower process. And this kind of technique is kind of how it's not how I do every single one of my works, but I do like this technique for just kind of letting the paint, I mean the water move the paint around, the pigment around, and see what happens. You know, that I like that process. I've always liked making things where I could not control the outcome, and this is sort of part of it. And now I'm trying to control it a little bit more, but I've always liked that. And this one, I don't know if I can, you know, my goal is to try to finish this today, but I'm not sure. Sometimes I can't tell until it's dry if it's done or not. It seems like it shouldn't make that much of a difference, you know, but sometimes it does. So I need a little time for that. So I'm kind of liking that right now. I wasn't sure at first. Let me hold it up a little closer. I just like how it looks like there's something happening back there. I don't know what it is, and I like that about this. And I love this down here. I don't want to really change that. And then, so over here, I want to address this other area over here. I'm going to turn it upside down again, I think, because I don't want to get that wet. I'm reading people's comments. Oh, thrifted clothing. Yes. Upcycling, dancing in a dream. Yes. And wildlife art. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I really have fun with it. And one of the things I'm going to do, I probably won't do it today because I really want to get this finished. And actually, I'm going to try to talk and paint this at the same time. Let me zoom in here a little bit because I'm kind of far out. Sometimes I forget to zoom back out when I zoom in. I want to do something here because this is just all kind of one value, but I love this. So I don't know, I might try to even not really use acrylic here because I don't want to lose what's happening there. And so sometimes I use these pigment inks if I can get the right blue over there. And then I might try to lighten that using one of these if I can. I think I only have 2 blues, and then I have this mist. So let's see if I can get these to work. But what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about my paintings that I've been working on since May, and I had all these panels. Some of you, if you've been here before, maybe I do need a little bit of white in here. I started working on these collage panels that I started, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe even, I'm mixing a color over here so while I'm talking. I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or so, I took a collage course, and then my dad cut a whole bunch of masonite panels for me. And I started them, and I didn't really like where it was headed, and I kind of put them aside, and life got in the way. And so I pulled them out in May, and I started working on those. That's maybe a little too light. And so I pulled them out, and I started working on them recently, and I have almost 30 of them done since May. And so I was thinking maybe I should show everybody, some of these works. I probably need this blue someplace else in here. And so, but what I've done though is because I'm very messy when it comes to my work, and I started to I was worried that I was gonna ruin some of the paintings because I was working nearby the painting. So I finally put them in with glassine paper, and I put them in these bags to, so that I wouldn't ruin them. So I was like, oh, I'll get those out and show everybody. But it's like, oh, they're all in bags. I can't show them to you very well right now. I'd have to take them all out, and that would be very boring for everybody. So I'm not gonna do that today, but I will do it and show people where I've been. I can't believe I've created as much work as I've created in just like 3 months. It's kind of wild. Okay, so I was thinking of not using acrylic there because I just didn't want to lose that collage under there. But okay, I might just let that dry, not stress about it too much. Oops, I do want to leave it there. Okay, I can always brush over that after that dries. And then I don't like this. There's this little, it looks, sometimes I get these places where the collage pulls, the paper underneath pulls up, and then you can kind of see the panel underneath. And I would like to try to, I don't know, looks like a mistake to me. So I try to fix those when I see that. So I try to match the color, which which is always a little bit of a challenge. Have you ever seen those videos where there are people who can like look at the color of something and then mix it like exactly the right color? There's some amazing people that can do that. That's pretty good though, I have to admit. That matched pretty well. So let's see. Well, I don't know. I'm probably gonna blend that in there somehow. Let's see. Where's that color again? And I really just like using the water to kind of just soften everything with the acrylic. I see people using acrylic and it's really thick and really cool. I don't really do that. I did that a little bit on this one, but I tend to go the opposite direction and thin mine out with a lot of water so I can see what's happening underneath. So I'm letting gravity work on this right here, right now. Yeah, I have quite a few long form videos I want to work on, but I've just been so focused on live streams and other things that I haven't really made any other videos, long form videos. I've been trying to at least do one a month. What am I doing here? This is the wrong lid. Okay. All right, let's see. How is this looking right now? I like that this got a little lighter over here and mistier looking. I don't know, maybe I need to put a little bit of that in here. It's not the same color, it's more purple, but, or more gray blue, that's a little too, I like that, how that looks. I don't know if it kind of picks up with that color there. It doesn't have to be exact, but I tend to keep, this is a limited palette. And I like to keep a limited palette and kind of keep everything, you know, in the same realm of color. Maybe that, I don't know if that needs to connect right there with that, maybe. I just want to start to define what's in front and what's happening behind with this. And I just feel like this is like either a starry night up here or, you know, something is happening in the forest. What I've also found that's been happening for me is that I've been like imagining stories with, I'm not a writer. I wish I were a writer. I'm writing on Substack, but I'm not like a story writer, right? Like I always thought it would be so cool to be a fiction writer. But I don't think that's my strength. Thank you, Jacqueline. I know the texture from the collages, I just, you know, I love finding those things in here. So I'm gonna just let this water come down here a little bit. I'm getting a little bold here with that, letting that might not be really where I want that to go. Coax it over here. But so some of these have sort of become stories for me, you know, like I see something happening in these works, you know, that it's not where I started, right? Like, I mean, I just, you know, find something later that is story-like. I don't know what that red is. I really like that red. But I don't know, maybe I don't, and then this is sort of almost like a cranberry. I have some of those pigment inks that I could maybe touch in a few areas after this is dry to kind of pull that color a little bit here and there, and then just really bring that color and maybe even that red, just a couple touches here and there that would just really work with that. Well, if it looks like I'm in slow motion, it's because I kind of am with this. I have to sort of see how the water moves, how things dry, how things settle. I really think this is starting to shape up, and not that it was far from it before, but I think I want to maybe resolve a little bit of things happen. This feels disconnected. I want to, after it's dry, I'll probably use some of these inks. Over here, I might come in between these trees just a little bit more to define those. I don't know yet. Just maybe a little bit here and there, and then I think, I don't know, maybe just a teeny bit right here, but it's pretty close. The other thing I do, and you know, I don't do it obviously while I'm on a live stream, but I like to take a photo of these and then turn it into a black and white and just double check how my values are looking, how the contrast is, you know. Like I like to have some really dark areas and then contrast that with, you know, some really light areas. And so that's why this is so important right here. And then have the mid-tones. I forgot where I was going with this color. I started to create this dark. I don't remember what I was going to do with it. I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe I better stop if I don't remember what I was going to do. You can see how, you can't see it. Part of my paintbrush. My paintbrushes are so old that the paint on the brush itself is falling off. I think I should probably stop on this one before you know, that was, I think in my last video last week I talked about knowing when to stop. And it's so hard sometimes, right? Like, it is so to say it's finished, you know, because sometimes getting really fussy, you just, you've done too much. So I think I'm gonna leave this one. Like, I wish, here's one thing I wish weren't there. It's right here. But I don't want to paint over that. I wish I could take that off and that I had but that's acrylic from previous time and it's not gonna come off. So I'm gonna leave that. So there's just a few little places I think I might resolve in here. Add a little bit of this color over here. And, you know, maybe I'll come back next. Oh, well, speaking of next week, yes, I will be back next week. On Saturday, I should be back because I'm going to be up in Gaylord, Michigan. No, not Gaylord, Grayling, Michigan. At the very first, well, actually, honestly, it's not the very first. It's the very first show in an extremely long time. I mean, years. Art show. I had my work accepted into some art shows many years ago, and they were just local ones. And I mean, I shouldn't, you know, belittle it, whatever. I mean, I don't mean it that way. But I haven't done anything for many, many years, right? So I just submitted into several shows, and I'm in 3 shows. And the very first one is an international one. I did not expect to get my work in it. And I'll be going up to Grayling on Friday night to go to the opening. I was like, I can't miss this. It's about a 3-hour drive from where I live. And so I'm going to be going and spending the night. So but you know, it's only a 3-hour drive. So by the time I check out of the hotel on Saturday, hopefully I should be home to be back to do a live stream. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll take some footage of, you know, I'll videotape some stuff and maybe I'll do a long form video. I have 2 more openings to go to in September. So I'm pretty geeked, as they say, about that. So yeah, I'll be here Saturday and then I should be here Wednesday. And I've been doing watercolors on Wednesdays, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure where I'm headed with my watercolors right now, and maybe I just, you know, keep it light. Like I have just been doing abstract stuff that I've just been I haven't been doing that much with it. I don't know if it's that interesting or not. So I guess I'll see how I feel on Wednesday. I mean, maybe Wednesday I'll show my these panels that I've been working on, you know, maybe I'll unwrap them and show them on Wednesday instead of doing watercolor this week. Okay, so this one, I'm kind of prattling on here. I'm gonna set this one aside and I want to put it in front of my fan, so I'm stepping away. And then let me see if I can come back to this one, because this one, oops, that's upside down. Like I feel like this one's almost done. This one is sort of similar to that last one, but I ended up, you know, painting over the collage part of it. It wasn't as interesting. And this was what I saw. But so I still am not sure about this top part up here. And that's where I really want to come back. I maybe like this a little bit better, but I feel like I want to deepen these trunks even a little bit more. And like I say, I don't like to use black. I don't have any, well, I guess this is black. I was gonna say, I don't have any black in here, but I do. So maybe I should just go ahead and be bold and get my black acrylic paint out, which is behind me. Okay, well, I have Payne's Gray too, but I don't know. I think I have Payne's Gray on my palette here too, I'm not sure. For watercolors, I think I already have Payne's Gray in here. With watercolor, that's Payne's Gray. I don't think, I just put my arm in a big blob of paint here. Let me, okay. I mix my own black with my watercolors because, well, every now and again I experiment with some black, but I like mixing, because I feel like in life, really the only black is the absence of light. So you don't really see black in shadows, right? If you really look at shadows, they're purple, they're, deep blues, or I don't know. That's how I see it. And so I don't use black as much. I try not to anyway, because I just think it's too heavy, and I just love having the color. I feel like I'm being a little bit, see now, I think I lost over here. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like this got too dark, right? Like I kind of lost my color there. I let that dry and it kind of lost the excitement of the color beneath it, but maybe I can, I want to add a little bit of water to this. Let me come back out here. And I took that tree out, I guess you can kind of see it in the background. I don't know if that was a good thing or not. Also, I feel like this became all like one color, and I don't like that. It's not really. So this is what I mean. Got to be careful. I'm starting to get into the territory of doing too much. I've told this story before, and I'll maybe mention it again, but that was like my professor, you know, at when I took a watercolor painting class. It was a class that we went to. We went to Italy. It was fabulous. And we went out and painted in the Tuscan landscape. And she, we would just paint for 15 minutes, you know. And she'd go around and she had a, you know, it was so hot. We were there in May, but it was really hot. And she would just come around and say, "Stop." She'd bop us on the head with her hat. She'd pull her hat off and bop us on the head and say, "That's enough. That's enough." And she was right. Sometimes you just have to stop. And I'm not stopping yet. I probably need to stop. Okay, let's get some water on here. I think that it's better than it was at the beginning in terms of like, I did add some of that, you know, darkness there, but I feel like it, I don't know. I'm not sure that it's kind of maybe too much of all the same thing happening. Like too much of the same color. I like, okay, so right here, that, I like that because it's got some green and some other things, and then it goes into this sort of shadow that's a little too much of all one thing happening. Just try to blend this stuff in. And then the other thing I just wanted to say, I think this is pretty close to being done. I mean, I said I was going to finish it. I would say I might be able to say it's finished after this dries on the top. That was the only thing. I just felt like this was all too much of the same thing up here. And maybe it still is. Last week I also mentioned that I have this tendency to like stop my live stream, and then it's like, wait a minute, after the live stream is over, I think of the thing that I wished I would have done while I was doing the live stream. So, you know, I've been trying to stay on a little longer, and you know, hopefully it's still interesting. Kind of, I'm in slow motion sometimes, but you know, sometimes it takes me a while. It takes me 30 minutes to get, you know, kind of warmed up here. And then I start to see things, or I start to realize what it is that I need to do to make something work. And so I've been trying to stay on a little bit longer, I guess is what I'm saying. And I don't know about this tree. I'm wondering if I should have just kind of left it in here and it was something sort of faded in the background, or if I should cover it up some more. Also, I think I'm going to tone this down after it dries, because when I first did this, this was the whitest part, and it was, to me, it was like the trees were, you know, moving toward the light. So I added light here now, and I'm going to have to decide. I'm going to, after it's dry, stand back, look at it, and decide, you know, do I really want that much light across it, or do I want to focus the light in one place? And then I can always knock that back like I did on the snowy one. Like that's another thing, you know, using pure white. I try not to totally use pure white because I feel like it's too white. Oh, I don't know. I better stop. I better stop. All right, so this one I think is very close. And, you know, it might even be done after I wait to see it dry and stand back from it. Let that water soften that up there. And, okay, let's see. I named this one. And I named, oops, look what I just did. I got, see what I mean about being messy? I just got green where I wanted it to be light. Well, that's okay. I can fix that. Okay. I don't know, maybe I don't want that to be. I don't know. I can't talk and paint at the same time very well, I guess. What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. Okay. Oh, I was going to tell you what I named this one. I named this, what did I name this one? This, the one I was just working on, that's hopefully is dry now. I'm going to wrap this up, so let's see, let's revisit these. This one I titled it, they called us. Like I just felt like something calling back there. They called us. So that's that one. And then this one is, oh, this one's called Out of Thin Air. That's right. This one's called Out of Thin Air. I think this is working. I think that is, you know, the darkness, and then, because if you look at a tree up under here, it's going to be in shadow, and then as it goes down the trunk, you can see that a little bit better. This one's called Out of Thin Air. And then last but not least, this one is called They Sleep. Now They Sleep. So I might, the one other thing I want to do on this one, once it's completely dry from that glaze, I might put a little bit of misty, some of this with a, you know, really light brush to make it a little bit misty. So those are the three. And with that, I am like closing in on 30 of, I think it's 30. I have one left. I think this is close. It might be done. Yeah, exactly, the golden yellows. So to give you a sense of sometimes what I'm working with when I start, this is the last one. Underneath here is a super old collage from like about 7 years ago. And then I added some texture paste to it and some a glaze, this yellow, and then I didn't like that. So I sanded it down, and I kind of liked what was happening in a few places, but then there were some big areas where like a circular area ripped off, and I didn't like that. So I found these are just some paper pieces of, you know, pieces of art or scraps from the studio, and so I just decided to glue those on. And I'll probably glue a couple more layers on, and then I'm going to sand it back again, and then I'll start adding the paint like you see, you know, on some of these other ones. And you know, I tilt the panel and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's, I can't believe since May that I have arrived where I have arrived. And if you listen to my channel trailer, you'll get a sense for where I started a year ago in May. And now I'm like, wow, I've got, I'm in 3 art shows. I never expected that. You know, like when I started out in May of 2025 to focus on my channel and make a commitment to it, I didn't know that I would become the artist that I am. So for me, you know, being here on YouTube, I know I'm a small channel, but I don't care. I'm here to, you know, share my art with other people. I'm here to, you know, create. And out of that, commitment to myself and to you all, I've like really fallen into this rhythm and feel like I've really found myself as an artist. So that has been like something that I totally did not expect to arrive at, a place I did not expect to arrive at in this process. So, all right, I just want to give a shout out once again to my friend Jacqueline, who's here dancing in a dream, and she has a beautiful voice, a beautiful presence on her YouTube channel, and you should go visit that and check out her replays and then her Friday Night Live streams where she sings her heart out. And also, thank you to everyone who joined me live today. And for those of you on the replay, I appreciate you spending the time with me here in the studio. So until Wednesday, I'll see you then. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.